everyone, I'm Cassandra.
And I'm Mom.
And this is Millennial Mom, and in today's video we are back reviewing our Married at First Sight review, Season 10, Episode 14, Flight or Fight. And I was kind of curious to see who was going to fight, but I wasn't too surprised on who's going to fight.
And with that being said, let's get into the video.
So there was so much to unpack in this episode that we're almost going to have to do it by how the order of the episode went instead of doing the couples. But first, of course, we have to start off with the first couple who arrives, which is Katie and Derek. But before we can even get to see them walking in the door, we see Katie saying, you know, I'm still feeling a little type of way about the note that I found from Derek. And I'm just like, why are you still on this?
Not the note, the poem. The poem that he wrote as a freshman in high school. Now you say it. Why is she still on this? She's still feeling the type of way because she's thinking, you know, he doesn't feel that way about me, and how can he be romantic about me? I mean, you're constantly putting him down, like how are you expecting him to feel? But she goes along, has a conversation with Derek about the different relationships she's been in and even the ones that she had in college. And she said, well, you know, maybe I haven't found the right type of guy. And Derek's like, well, you know, the reason why I did this was to find the right person. Maybe I've been with the wrong person too. And then he gives Katie compliments. He's like, I'm glad I found you. She's like, you better. She's like, I'm glad I found you too. A little sarcasm in there.
She's always sarcastic.
Right.
Anyways, we see them enter into the nice house. It was actually very nice. It was big. And of course, they picked out the biggest room, which I would have too. So the next couple we see arrive is Jessica and Austin. And then we see Austin walking around with the crock pot in his hand. He's like, I guess people don't bring crock pots anymore. And I'm like, they could have showed him to the kitchen so he can drop it off. Showed him the 18 rooms that are in there.
Well, that's what he said. But you know what? Did we ever see what was in that crock pot? I was wondering what they brought.
Maybe it was the meat for the tacos.
Oh, maybe. So they're walking around. Katie said, so how are things going, Jessica? She's like, oh, things are going good. And of course, she asked Katie. She's like, yeah, they're going good too. See, now Katie needs to make up her mind. They're either going good or you're still mad about the 9th grade poll. Jessica's talking and she said how she told Austin that she loved him. And Katie was like, oh, I feel jealous.
So Katie's just jealous about everything
and
everybody?
Jealous because we haven't got there yet. They're always arguing. And Jessica's like, Like, sometimes it takes a little time. She's trying to let Katie know, you know, I think Derek's a good guy. And maybe it'll take a little time. But Katie's like venting, like, well, you know, I have to initiate everything, whether it be romantic or just anything. Katie is just upset because maybe she's not feeling that romance. But again, remember in other episodes, Katie said she was looking for a man, kind of like a strong man to pull her hair and stuff like that. So she don't think that Derek's that kind of guy.
And Jessica was just in there listening, like dr.viviana. Then we see Brennan and Taylor. So we see them in the car driving to the retreat. But before they even get there, we see that Brandon's in a confessional talking about how Taylor was at some hotel room with some people, some friends for the night. Said she was only going to be there for like a little bit of time, 30-40 minutes, but she ended up staying all night. And then later on in the morning, he got a text that, oh, she fell asleep. And he was feeling really salty about it. He was like, why was she out all night? How's she going to text me when she wake up? And I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I'm not against Taylor in her actions in this scenario, as we later on see on the line. But at the same time, it's like, well, at least she texted you and said something, because to me, y'all whole relationship seemed phony since last week, so I don't even know why you tripped.
Well, I disagree, because if you said, as my wife or my partner, that you're going to be gone 30-40 minutes to hang out with friends and you're supposed to be back, be back. It's not the next morning you come back and all of a sudden you get an apology text about, oh, I fell asleep. That right there, see, he already doesn't trust Taylor from the IG video. And that is a little shady. I was with Brandon on this one.
But when Taylor and Brennan were in the car, Brennan didn't say nothing to Taylor about it. And Taylor already knew what the issue was. But, you know, she wasn't going to say nothing either. So he had his AirPods on. He laid back and went to sleep instead of talking about it. Now, I understand, you know, going to sleep, because I like to sleep. But it's like, if you have an issue with her, you should have pressed the issue right then and there before you even got there.
Well, I think he said, well, he did say that he wanted to wait and talk about it at the retreat in his confessional. I think that maybe Brennan thought that there might be a Pastor Cal or a Dr. Viviana or a Dr. Pepper there to help mediate. I think that's what he thought. That's the reason why he waited. Or else he could have went ahead and talked to her then. But I think he just wanted to get assistance with that.
So they finally get to the house, and Taylor, of course, greets, what's the name?
Katie
Jessica,
and Derek
Katie
and Austin.
Yeah, all of them. Brandon, antisocial, don't know nobody, don't
Just kept
talk
walking.
to nobody, kept walking. When Taylor went to go sit down with the girls, he did come and greet them and sat down too, but it was probably like for like 2.8 seconds. And then he got up, he's like, well, at least he excused himself.
Yeah.
With the manners. And left the table. And then as soon as he left the table, Taylor's face went like to...
Yeah.
Like, do you see this fool? So that's why I'm just like, why? Like, why? Y'all should have been like Mindy and Zach and not come.
So the last couple to arrive is Mika and Michael. But before they get there on the car ride, Mika has general conversation with Michael, and he's just not really here for it. She's saying how, for this retreat, she hopes they can get along, rebuild a foundation, have more communication, and just pretty much have fun. And so she also says she's looking forward to seeing everyone. Mika asks Michael, so what are you looking forward to on the retreat? Michael?
Hanging with the guys, playing football. That's it.
That's all you're looking forward to? You're not looking forward to rebuilding or reconnecting?
Yeah.
So Mika's like, so I feel like we've been taking a few steps back, not really making progress and going the opposite of the recommitment ceremony. So do you think I'm missing anything?
Not really. Just like that. No emotion.
Right.
Just not responding to her, not communicating with her, just close off, shut off. And I'm just like, what happened from the last episode?
As far as I'm concerned, the same thing happened the whole season. Michael only opens up when there is a free counseling session with Dr. Viviana, Pastor Cal, or Dr. Pepper.
Where is Dr. Pepper?
I don't know. But he doesn't open up to Mika unless there's some kind of ceremony where the professionals are involved, because they really don't have conversation.
Right, he opens up, then he gets to crying and all the other stuff.
I mean, it's okay to have emotion, but I mean, I don't understand what Mika is still expecting for Michael to have. They've never really had true conversation without the help or assistance of the professionals. Now they're at the house. Everyone greets them. Mika's happy about seeing everyone.
Mika's happy about seeing everyone, but everyone can tell that Mika is unhappy.
Right.
Because her face is just like all the energy has been drained. And my energy would have been drained too.
Michael comes into, and I guess he says hi. He didn't really, engage everyone like Mika did. But he goes off and he finds Brandon.
And they go skip off and do what they do. But before the dinner scene, we see Jessica tell Mika, like, oh, you need a drink. And Derek's like, yeah, I'll make you a drink. just being all friendly and bubbly.
Yeah,
and
with
stuff
everybody.
Like So he goes with Taylor to go make a margarita. And Taylor makes her margarita with Red Bull. And I ain't never seen that in my life. Not ever. And side note, I don't mix anything with Red Bull because that is just too much for me.
Well, that's you.
So when it comes to the dinner scene, we see everyone at the table. Well, not everyone, because Brennan and Michael are still outside.
Right.
And they obviously know that they're making dinner, about to have dinner. And Brandon's like, I'm not even hungry, so I'm not even about to go in.
Right.
But Michael goes in because he wants some tacos.
Well, he said a taco.
Well, he had some tacos. Friend, like he ain't hungry.
So they're having dinner and everyone's talking, and then the conversation comes up, and it's always seemed to be Jessica and Austin. Well, mainly Jessica. Has anybody heard from Mindy or Zach?
That's the biggest elephant in the room.
Well,
one of the biggest.
Right, one of them. And of course, everyone's like, no. And they're like, oh, well, we were hoping they could, work it out. Taylor is actually sitting next to Derek.
Because Derek removes one of the chairs, and he's like, oh, I'm going to sit right here. And you can see on Katie's face that she's not really having it. But, like, where do you want him to sit? It's a production. You have to have assigned seating somewhere.
Right. Well, they sat across from each other. And but Derek and Taylor were a little flirty. Derek even admitted that they were flirty, too. But
I feel like Taylor was being more flirty towards Derek, because that's probably just what she does on a regular basis. Saying, oh, Katie, you're so lucky. Like, if she's not another Lindsay over here. As we see them doing that, about to have shots, who walks in? Brandon walks in. And they're like, oh, Brandon, let's take shots. He's like, no, I don't want to take a shot.
No, I'll just have my wine.
I'll have wine, I'll have beer.
Yeah.
He's like, some people have to work all day in the morning. Just like that, all day in the morning.
Right.
Like, sir, all the extras was not needed.
I'm just about to say that, all the extras. You know, but before they did come, you know, we didn't say this part, but he did say, you know, the people were like strangers. So, because he's not used to being around them. So maybe that's why he was being extra, because maybe it's not like, I don't know you, I just have to be here. I mean, that's how it came across to me. As they're going around and talking still and trying to have a good time, Taylor talks to Derek about her making sacrifices for Brandon. Like, he's always like this, and you know, I'm the one making these sacrifices, and he always treats me like this, and I just don't know why. And Derek's like, oh, well, you don't have to put up with that, Taylor. All this conversation, you know, he's like comforting Taylor, and Katie's looking like,
it looks cookie
like, Derek, what are you? Who are you? Do I know you? Katie gets really mad at this situation, and she actually storms off.
She storms off because Austin and Jessica were talking about how Jessica finally told Austin that she loves her, and they were all like, "Aw." As Katie stormed off, Jessica's like, "See, this is why I don't tell nobody nothing."
Right.
Because we the only ones doing great. Everybody else ain't doing great.
Right.
And when I enlighten them on some positivity, people always get mad. As we went to Katie, we found out that wasn't the reason.
Right.
Why? And she finally was like, you know, who was there? Mika
and Jessica.
And Jessica was there. She's like, you know, I always, you know, put in all the effort for Derek.
Right.
I'm the one who initiates and getting the booty. I do this and I do that, and he don't do nothing. He don't meet me halfway. I'm direct with him, and all the other stuff just going on
Just
and on
going
and on.
on.
And then she was like, why isn't he here?
Right. She's like, see, that's what I mean. He's playing all nice and being all flirty with everybody. He's the first one should have got up to see what was the matter with me. And that's the only point that I agreed with Katie on. He should have got up to see what was wrong with Katie. But no, him and Taylor was too busy talking and kicking back and drinking, having a good time. Derek didn't see what the problem was.
I mean, if Katie does this all the time and Derek's there to have a good time after the retreat with all the couples, I wouldn't have got up either.
Still, that's her husband. She want to be supported. Then Jessica and Mika go back to the table and they're talking, and you know, they're like, well, how's Katie? They're like, well, she's not really fine. So then Derek is like, Katie, are you okay? So Derek decides to go up to see what's wrong with Katie. Now Katie has made her way outside. And Derek's like, I don't know what's wrong. What's telling? She's like, you never know what's going on. You just treat everybody better than you treat me. All these women in the house. I'm your wife. I'm your wife.
Well, that was after the second time she got up from the table.
Well, still, it's all the same scenario. So Derek, you know what he does? He apologizes to Katie. And Katie's not trying to hear that.
She's like, you act like a dweeb with me, a nerd. And Derek's like, well, because you be shooting down all my drinks and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want me to do? So they decide to call the evening. And then we see Derek and Katie go back to the room. Well, Katie's already in the room. She's sleeping.
She's not sleeping. She's under the covers with the stuff over her head like she's a kid throwing a tantrum.
Well, she's in the room. Derek comes in the room. And he's like, I apologize. I'm sorry. You know, we can talk about this in the morning. And she just gave him the cold shoulder. So then we see Mika and Michael. Mika kicks Michael out the room because she's like, you haven't talked to me since barely in the car, outside the car, in the house, no time. So how are we going to sleep in the same bed if we haven't had any communication all day? So she kicks him out the room. He's like, I would never have done that. We would have slept in the same room. Wow. You know? But isn't this the man who got a separate room on the honeymoon?
It is.
Oh, okay. I thought I was seeing a different Michael.
Right.
Then we see Brennan and Taylor. Taylor goes outside. And you know what she does? She sits on Brennan's lap.
She's trying to be all lovey-dovey. I was like, that's not going to work. That is not going to work, Taylor. Not today.
So she's like looking at his phone, asking what he's doing. Finally, we get to the conversation about what happened.
Right.
After she was supposedly MIA all night.
Right, but Brandon was calm about it, though. He was like, well, you know, I saw your post on IG. He was calm.
I don't think he was calm. I think he was being...
Actually, you know what? Brandon was passive-aggressive, but he was calmer than normal, because Brennan does talk in a calm voice.
He was putting on the front, on an act, being very condescending, trying to act like he was calm. I didn't like it.
Brennan tells Taylor about the IG video that Taylor made the night when she didn't come home. And he was like, you know what? I was tagged in that by my friend. She's like, oh, really? What's wrong with that? She's like, I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know that anything was wrong. He's like, you didn't know anything was wrong. She's like, no, I didn't. What's wrong with you? Now Taylor is getting pumped up. Normally it's Brandon, this time it's Taylor. So Taylor's going off and she's like, you know, I said I was with my friends. I didn't lie. That's where I was. Brandon's like, no, I'm not doing this with you. You said that you were supposed to be back 30, 40 minutes later. I don't even know who these friends are. You do know who my friends were. You said you was going to work. I went out because of you, Brandon. I went out because of you. You're being a boop about this, Brandon. Girl, what did you think about Taylor going off with that?
Well, what I thought was, as she was getting mad and her voice was starting to raise even more, she was definitely getting defensive. Like, oh, what did you do? And then I do honestly believe she might have dropped him off at work, supposedly. I think after he was dropped off at work, went back home because he didn't want to kick it with Taylor because they don't like each other. I don't know why they're trying to convince us that they like each other at this point.
Okay.
And when that happened, I do think Taylor did want to hang out with Brandon for a little while, but I do think she was going to kick it with her friends after that, which she did.
Yeah.
So I think they both did what they were going to do.
Well, the point is, she said, or he was under the assumption that she was going to stay all night. 30, 40 minutes isn't all night.
Well, if he's out working, supposedly, and then gets released early or whatever happened, why does it matter if she's out all
Because
night?
Brandon says, you're a married woman. You're not supposed to be out all night.
Well,
That's why.
if she want to kick it with her friends, she should have been able to kick it with her friends because they don't like each other.
You know why you can kick it with your friends? Because you're not married. Taylor is married. You have to respect the household, whether it be Taylor or Brandon or any other couple, to not be out all night, to come home or be where you say you're going to be. That was the issue. And again, I was on Brandon with this one, even though he could handle it better before the retreat. But like I said, I think he was waiting because he thought maybe possibly the professionals were there to help out since they've been there the last time they, had met up for the recommitment ceremony.
After she called him a B word, which I don't agree that she should have did because that's going to provoke him even more.
Yeah, anybody.
So basically, he was done. He started taking off his mic and stuff, and production was like, "Well, you can't take that off." And he was like, basically, who's going to stop me? You going to touch me?
Right.
Like,
Right.
what? Like, I'm like, where is this coming from?
Right. Well, now he's upset. He's being aggressive and defensive now. So Taylor's now in the room getting ready for bed because she had already left and Brandon out there when Brandon decided to go. And she's like, she comes out, she hears all this stuff. She's like, what's going on?
And then you see Brandon in the producer's face.
Yeah.
Basically, like, telling him, like, to come at me. If you have an issue, like, what are you going to do? And the
He was wrong for
producer
that.
was like, I'm not even go there with you. Like, it ain't nothing. And Brandon's still calling him, like, a piece of ass.
Yeah.
And then the black girl next to the producer, and like, well, she's a piece of ass too. And she was like, well, at least I'm a goat and piece of ass.
And I'm like,
yes, girl, you better let him know.
And on top of that, I was like, this is Panama all over again. He tried to make it seem like he got past that, but that part of his personality shined through again. That didn't have anything to do with the producers. That was between him and Taylor.
Especially the producers already said that they had a conversation where they both knew that I'm telling you, you can't take off your mic because it's not your property. You're on the show. You know what to sign up for. And Brandon's agreeing to it. So I don't know why. Well, probably because of alcohol in the system. But that just enhanced his defiance even more because he already didn't want to do it, which is why I don't understand why they were trying to make it seem on the last episode like they were together, because I'm like, this is phony. Get it off the TV now.
Well, Taylor comes out, like I said, and she's like, what's going on? Brandon, don't do this. Brandon, calm down, Brandon.
And it's like, don't touch me.
Calm down, Brandon.
Don't touch me.
I was like, that is so fake. You just caught him up outside.
Right.
Brandon, just talk to me. Well, we can work this out if you talk to me.
Don't put your hands on me.
So then they go into the bathroom or wherever they are, and you just hear like this commotion. It's like, move, get out my way.
Right.
And he can't get out. You could tell he can't get out because the door was blocked.
Right, but weren't you confused on how the producers got his phone camera footage? I was confused by that.
I don't know. Well, it's a show, and maybe in order to put it out, that part of the filming, they had to use that. Maybe it was some kind of agreement worked out. I don't know how they got it, but the point is, Taylor was on camera on Brandon's phone filming, and she was standing and blocking the way when he clearly said more than once he wanted to leave. So Taylor should have just let him leave, because the situation was already escalated outside, and now he's with the producers escalating. He's just getting more and more frustrated.
I feel like she did that to kind of like redeem herself, like she's a good person here trying to make it work. But it doesn't look like that. It just looks like you're just egging stuff on, antagonizing it. So when a producer was like, okay, you know, just let him go, let him leave. And she's like, I don't know why you guys came in here. Like, why did you do that? I'm not happy about that. Brandon was like, I am. She's like, no, you're not, Brandon.
Right, Brandon. No, you're not, Brandon. Get out my way, Taylor. No, Brandon. I was like, I'm so over this. Let the man go.
Please.
Let him go. Because he was doing no good to Taylor or to production before things got out of hand. Just let him go. Walk away, cool off. Get him another room, hotel, something.
So the next morning, we see Derek and Katie in the bed. And now, Katie's all snuggled up on Derek.
Go ahead and lay on my shoulder.
All snuggled. And Derek's like, you know, I apologize. I'm sorry. But I'm like, I feel like Katie needs to apologize.
I do. Katie has never apologized. Have you noticed that? It's always Derek apologizing to Katie about her attitude or why she's upset.
Why he made her feel this way.
Yes. Exactly.
So I guess they're cool now. We see Michael knocking on the door. And we're like, well, whose door is he knocking on?
Right.
On Mika's door? Like he wants to say something to her?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
No, we found out he was knocking on Brandon's door because he was like, oh, we're getting ready to go, because he was texting him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we? What do you mean we? Like, y'all both leaving?
Yeah.
Like, well,
go
I
where?
Brandon might be going somewhere because he already wanted to leave.
Yeah.
But Michael, where are you going? So we found out that Michael said he was going back to DC to arrange some flowers for his uncle's funeral.
Right.
And that was another reason why he was kind of upset with Mika, as we later on found out, because his uncle died, and he said that Mika didn't show any emotion to it.
Right.
Which I can kind of see.
I don't know if I see that. She may not have given the vulnerability like Michael wants, but I just can't see someone be in the same house with you and be like, oh, your uncle died? Oh, okay.
Right.
So.
We see all the other couples making breakfast.
Right.
And they're basically like, oh, well, where's Brandon? And Taylor's like, oh, you know, just didn't give a straight answer. Didn't tell them that they had a fight at all.
Right.
Which I'm sure they heard.
I'm sure.
They're like, oh, well, where's Michael? And then here comes Michael coming out saying, oh, yeah, I'm going to leave. He's like shaking up people's hands and stuff. And then he comes to Mika like, oh, I'm about to leave. Didn't give her a hug or nothing. I'm like, dang, Michael, that's cold.
Right.
At least gave the illusion. Mika's kind of confused. She's like, well, where is he going? He never told me that he was leaving anywhere. Which he should have told her that he was leaving somewhere if he wasn't going anywhere. Especially if it was to arrange some flowers for her uncle's funeral. Like, she should have knew that. Like,
side note, the same reason why whatever happened in Panama happened in Panama. The same exact reason. Because in Panama, something happened prior to they getting there for the honeymoon. They didn't talk the whole honeymoon till like the last day or two. So, Mika put him out the room, want him to sleep somewhere else. Just like in Panama, he's like, why should I talk to her, tell her anything that's going on? In my opinion, that's how I viewed that scene.
As we go outside, because Brennan and Michael are about to leave, we see production trying to talk to Brennan because he got in the car. He had the window rolled down a little bit.
Just a little bit.
And then he rolled it up. And at first, I thought the dude who was talking to him was Michael. I was like, hold on.
No, I didn't
changed
think so.
outfits? I thought it was the same person for a second. But he basically told him, like, look, if he don't unlock this car within 5 minutes, he ain't getting a ride.
Nobody getting a ride. You not getting a ride?
Right.
Michael not getting a ride? You not getting a ride. So I don't know what you gonna do.
He was like, so this is your ride, so you gonna need to talk to him. I thought that was so funny. I'm like, he ain't playing no games.
So Michael was like, look, man, they say you can't have no ride. Now, Brennan heard what the man said. He was just standing outside the car. The car is not soundproof, and I'm sure it's not bulletproof.
So and he
So
told Michael, I don't trust you. Rolled up the window. I was dying at this scene.
first of all, if Brandon wanted to leave so bad, he should have left last night, called his own Uber, Lyft, taxi, whatever, had special arrangement because he was already hostile. I don't even know why he waited till today because it was free ride since he had to be at work anyways. Right? Mm-hmm. So then what happened? Brandon gets out the car and starts walking. He's on his phone. So clearly he must have called someone else to pick him up or change his mind in another scene, something we didn't see.
Yeah, because we basically only saw the couples just eating.
Yeah.
And Derek's over here being nosy, trying to figure out what's happening. He's all scattered around. I'm like, that'd be me. I'm like, wait, hold on.
Everybody's like, Jessica's like, Jessica, not Katie, just sit down and eat. Don't worry about that. Jessica's like, I'm not here for this. She says, every time Brandon's around, there's always seems like there's drama. Mm-hmm. Even when he's not around, there's drama. Mm-hmm. That's a problem.
It is.
Then the couples go have their own little retreats, and Derek and Katie go off, and they actually stay around where their complex, or not complex, where they're staying for the retreat.
Right, because Derek said that he stole some golf cart keys.
He's like, oh, I'm a bad boy. I stole some golf cart keys. I said,
like,
no,
you gave that to you.
Right. All right. Exactly. I'm like, no, that would make you a thief. But like you said, production gave that to you. So they just drove around.
Yeah, but Katie ate it up though. She was like, oh my gosh, you stole some keys.
I know.
Oh my gosh, you're gonna pick some flowers for me? You're such a rebel. I'm like, this is all it took? This?
That's all it took. The initiative to steal, to pick flowers from the fence. That's what Katie was looking for. That initiative, that inner bad boy. That's what she's looking for.
Okay.
And we see Jessica and Austin go to a cave-like setting, and it's down in the, I don't know, it's down underneath the ground. Well, a cave, right? Is underneath the ground, but it's kind of like, I don't know if anyone ever has been to like a Hoover Dam, which we have here locally, or something like that. It's just like an enclosure. But these are caves where you can walk through and see like all kind of markings from like where water comes through, and there's sometimes water down there too, like natural waters, natural springs. And Jessica and Austin are really enjoying this, like, oh, this is neat, whatever. It turned out that enclosure they were in was open in 1931. And even the guy was like, oh, the elevator is from 1931. I'm like, when's the last time it's been inspected?
I'm sure it's inspected yearly.
They seem to have a good time every time they're around. Mika and Taylor are at the house. It looks like they're cooking burgers. They probably was cooking that for everybody for lunch or dinner when they came back, but they was already pre-cooking. So they decide to go on their retreat together. Mm-hmm. And they end up going to a paranormal play studio. That's where Mika and Michael are supposed to go.
And in the scene while they were going to the paranormal activity, we see Taylor like, oh, I'm not really upset that he's not here, but, it is what it is. I'm like, because we know you don't care. Then right. Mika was like, I kind of wish that Michael was here because she actually wants to try. And I don't understand why she wants to keep trying at this point. Like, he's so, like, mean to you and, like, keeps lying to you. Well, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, in my opinion, that she doesn't want to feel like she gave up. She wanted to go through the whole process, the whole 8 weeks, and then if it works out, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. She wants to say she did it without giving up.
But at this paranormal activity, I was like, this is fake. This looks fake and set up.
It did look fake.
And I don't mess with paranormal stuff like that.
Me neither, girl.
I don't watch movies like that or nothing. I watch horror movies, but I won't watch ghost movies.
I don't even watch those.
We see them all sit down to have dinner. And who shows up? Michael shows back up.
Yeah.
Yay.
Happy. Hey, what's up? Again, what's up, man? What's up? Hey. I was
but
like,
not talking to Mika, though.
No. So they're sitting around dinner. They're talking about, oh, so did you get done what you need to get done for your uncle? He's like, yeah, well.
We got there at 2. Didn't really have that much to do. A lot of running around. A lot of traffic, you know. And they were like, oh, so you just dropped off Brandon and went to go do what you did? He's like, yeah, we went to go drop him off. He had to go get some clothes. Yeah. And then Jessica was like, well, did that interfere with your time of doing stuff? He was like, well, no, not really. And I forgot who asked, oh, well, did you go to see family? He was like,
it was still Jessica. Jessica was asking all the questions. She's like, did you see family? Did you get a chance to meet up with your family to see, to help you out? He's like, no, not really. People were here and there, but.
Yeah, they told me to go here. They told me to go there. It wasn't a lot. And they were like, oh, okay, so you just dropped off Brandon.
Wait, not just dropped off Brandon. Dropped off Brandon. He
had to go find parking. And
at a festival.
And Mika was like, why would you have to go find parking? And he was like, Right.
And
You
so
had to go find parking.
yeah, and Jessica's like, well, why can't you just drop him off? He could just walk to where he needed to go. It's like, well, no, we just all kind of hung out. That's where he messed up. Who's all? All that hung out at a festival? Where?
And they were like, production?
Yeah, and he didn't say nothing. He was like, well, no, we just all hang out. He said, well, you got a ride from here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and Mika's like, why didn't you drive?
And Taylor was like, BS. This is some BS.
Yeah.
She weren't even trying to hear it no more. Jessica was like, I'm just going to stop, eat my mac and cheese and my steak, and that's it. But Mika was still asking questions. But at this time, this is when Michael was just like, I'm just going to get up and leave the table.
Yeah.
And he says, you're ridiculous, as he walked into the room.
And Mika was like, you know what? I'm glad that this happened in front of everybody. So now they can see that it's not just me. He's lying.
Mm-hmm.
He's lying. That's her thing. He's lying. He's lying about everything. She didn't make a t-shirt. He lied. He lied about everything. I'm glad other people got to see, which is true.
But my thing is, why was he lying though? Like, I don't even understand what he was lying about. So I'm like, was he really arranging the flowers for his funeral, for his uncle's funeral? Because I hope he was. I hope he weren't lying about that. Because that's not something cool to lie about.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, why can't you just say you dropped off Brandon? And specifically where? You know, I just don't understand why he was just going around in circles.
Right.
And under-explaining and over-explaining and just not saying what it was.
Right. As usual.
Okay, so that was the end of this week's episode of Married at First Sight.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of disappointed by this episode with all the dramas going on. I'm not saying that I wasn't entertained, because I was. But I was definitely surprised about Mika and Michael because, you know, it seemed like they were trying to make progress. Just trying. Any hope that I had for them vanished at that car ride because he just wasn't here for Mika at all. And it just really turned Mika off. And I kind of felt bad for her in a sense, but hoping, you know, she sees the light and she puts a stop to it soon.
Well, I say that the couples who have the most drama on these episodes, whether it be Brennan and Taylor or Mika and Michael, you know, their stuff came to a head this episode. And that made it hard to watch because, at least for Mika and Michael, there is a glimmer of hope every now and then. Mm-hmm. But Brennan and Taylor, they just never recovered or rebounded from that IG video. And it just feels like they were kind of talked into staying together to try to make something work, to try to get communication. And that's just not where they're at. Mm-hmm. And then as far as Derek and Katie goes, Katie is not, in my opinion, into Derek, and she just picks fights and just picks when Derek is actively trying, and he shouldn't always have to apologize to Katie for her behavior. Mm-hmm. Outside of that, the episode to me was entertaining, and I do look forward to next week because I just want to see where this retreat day progressed for the couples who didn't necessarily have the best time, and to see what decision they really are going to make.
Yeah, and to see why Brandon and Taylor was all hugged up in the next episode.
Well, that's going to be quite the scene.
Well, thank you guys for watching. We really appreciate all the likes, comment, and subscribes. And let us know how you felt about this week's episode and what you're waiting for next week.
And as always, live simply, be grateful.